Have you had any insecurities with doing sales in this industry, with getting deals inside the rank and rent industry? Has there been any at all that you've had to deal with?
Yeah, I think that's the language.
There are a lot of people that are starting to watch our content that are from other countries, that English is a second language. And the funny thing is you speak perfect English, but I think it's just that thing in the back of your head. And I can relate to some degree because even here, like I just did an interview a couple weeks ago here in the country, and I was sitting there in my head going, man, I'm pretty confident in this language, this local language. But if you asked me a question, I really needed to go deep. My natural instinct would be to flip over to English, but I'm like, I can't because people won't understand. So for those that are not English speakers, can you give any advice on how to like not let that stop you from calling and how you just push through it anyway? Because I get it. It's a thing.
Well, I know that you say I have like a good English, and I think I do, but there are certain times, especially when I'm cold calling, because you don't see the person face to face. It's through the phone. And sometimes when you're cold calling, they're doing something else, right? They're not prepared for your call. So they'll be driving, or they'll be, I don't know, there may be background noise. And when that happens, especially if they're from a different area where they have like a slightly different accent, I feel like I keep asking, what was that? Or like kind of like have them repeat it because I don't understand. And that's when I get thrown off. Then I get insecure because I feel like I'm not sounding professional. I get nervous, then I get even worse, and I just say, So that's my biggest insecurity.
Have you ever had anyone actually call you out on that? Or do you think that's just in your head?
I've had people call me out on that.
And say what?
Sometimes they just, I mean, do you want to like,
Well, like
I had
I'm
a
saying, I
girl-
think a lot of times, like, can people recognize that maybe you're from somewhere else? Maybe. But at the same time, like, I think that a lot of times we think it's a bigger deal than it is. And it's not. Like, if you called me or somebody called me, I don't care. You know what I like? It doesn't bother me. Here's what I'm getting at. The thing I love about this sale is we are letting the leads do the selling for us. And if we can get them leads, and guys, remember, we're only targeting people that are already paying for leads. If we can get them leads, the leads are going to convince them that this product and service works. And we're not going to have to do that much work to get the deal closed. So whether you're black, white, brown, orange, pink, purple, whether you speak English, Arabic, Italian as your friend, I don't care. And neither does the business owner, as long as you let the leads do the selling. Now, when you make that initial prospecting call, I can see what you're saying. So I guess I'm just trying to get some advice for people that are not native English speakers, because there's a lot right now, and we're seeing more and more because the internet is connecting the entire world. So is there any other advice you could give for someone that's not an English speaker?
Yeah, so I would say, and this only happens in the cold call, like when you're in the Zoom, you've already proven yourself. But even myself, like if someone is calling me, we're in the hooking phase, right? You're trying to hook a business owner, and someone sounds foreign, I don't trust them as much. And I'm foreign myself. But like someone calls me speaking in English and they have an accent and they're trying to sell me something.
You don't trust them?
I don't trust them as much as if it was just like an American. And I feel like I
so
can say
funny.
that I'm not even
so
from here.
funny.
I think everyone has this for the most part, unless you live in a very diverse country. But if you don't,
That's fair. I think
anyone has that. And so I think it depends, and this sucks, but it's true. It depends what accent you have. Like if you have a British accent, I think it's different than if you have a Spanish accent or whatever that may be.
that's fair.
With mine though, they don't understand where I'm from, so I have the same issue. And what I've done is I run the cold call normally. If nothing, like there's no hiccups, I sound smooth, I understand the other person, I don't bring it up. But if I can sense that he's like, wait, what? I can't really understand you. Anything like that comes up, then I've learned this trick, and I just kind of throw out in there. I say, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my accent, I'm actually from, and I'll literally say, I'm actually from Italy, but I've lived in the US for this amount of time. And that makes me feel better, and I regain my confidence back.
I love that. And I think that's genius. It goes back to what we talk about inside of the program, right? Bring up the objection first. If you can sense, or if you think it's going to be an objection, then you bring it up first. So let me give you an example. I used to knock on doors, and sometimes people would open the door and go like,
oh, I don't want to buy magazines.
and so finally I was like, I'm tired of hearing this stuff. So what I did is I would knock on the door and they would answer. I go, hey, don't worry, I'm not here selling you magazines. Don't worry, I showered today. Like something like that. And I would would get one of two reactions. I would get people going, ha 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 ha. Oh, that's so funny. Thank goodness, right? And I'm like, yeah, dog, I'm about to fucking sell you on this system, so you shouldn't be laughing. But I love that is you bring it up first, because if you just avoid it and it's a thing, it's way different than if you bring it up first. And so yeah, just bring it up. Don't be ashamed of it. Say, hey, I'm from Italy. I've been here since I was 16, whatever. And people are like, oh, that's really cool. So I think that's genius. And it's actually what I used to do with my door-to-door sales. It works like a charm. So there's a little tip for you non-native English people. If you guys call and if you keep getting that or you sense that, you can call and you can make it a joke.